We talked a little bit about how Republicans are surprisingly rather worried about how they're going to do in the upcoming special elections in Florida. As a consequence of their very narrow margin in the House of Representatives, they have Trump has unendorsed Stefanik from her position as UN ambassador, because they'd be polling from the House to do so. They want to pull her back, keep her in the House. This is actually pretty significant. It represents a genuine fear on the part of Republicans about their narrow margins. Now, I don't know if we're going to win those 2 spots in Florida. Be delightful if we did, but the fear still means a lot. Here.
Mr. President, yesterday you asked Representative Stefanik to stay in her seat. Can you explain your reason for that? And did it have anything to do with the tight polling in the Florida district that former Representative Waltz held?
I think we had, as you know, we have a few elections going on. And she is phenomenal, number one. She is a friend of mine, and she was going to go to the United Nations. And
that's not how that works, Kara M.
Said, look, there's a lot of room for doing that or something else. But she's very popular in her district, and I didn't want to take a chance. I don't even know who else is running. I assume somebody else would have been running. But if she runs, she can't be. You never want to say can't be beaten, but I think can't be beaten. She's very, very well-liked and very smart. And I said, Lise, would you do me a favor? We cannot take a chance. We have a slim margin. We don't want to take any chances. We don't want to experiment. And she polls like I do. I won her district, as you know, by a lot of points. And she also does very well.
That's great, man. Yeah, it's actually a pretty huge deal. Elise Stefanik gave up so much to be Donald Trump's ambassador to the United Nations. She departed her position in the House Republican leadership. She said goodbye to much of her staff and a congressional seat that she surely would have held far longer than an ambassadorial post. She lost friendship after friendship over her unwavering loyalty to the president. On Thursday, Trump repaid Stefanik's loyalty, as only he could, by kicking her nomination to the curb, and notably not because of anything she did, but because of his own mistakes. Very narrativized, but also kind of an accurate summary
of the president. Well, Donald Trump is now deciding it would please him more to keep Elise Stefanik in Congress. The congresswoman was slated to be the new U.S. ambassador to the United Nations.
Sorry, back to the House you go. Sending a woman back to the House, not working abroad. Well, the UN's in New York, I guess, so not really abroad. This will matter for the overall picture in New York's 2026. But I mean, well, the main significance of this is the fact that Republicans didn't expect the margins to be this close, right? If they did, they wouldn't have gone with her as UN ambassador in the first place. They're nervous.
Now he wants to keep her where she has been in Congress, focused on keeping the Republican majority. The president posted on Truth Social today, "It is essential that we maintain every Republican seat in Congress. I don't want to take a chance on anyone else running for Elise's seat. The people love Elise, and with her, we have nothing to worry about come Election Day. There are others that can do a good job at the United Nations."
I have been proud to be a team player. The president knows that. He and I had multiple conversations today.
Republican makeup.
And we are committed to delivering results on behalf of the American people. You see a highly, highly politicized radical left trying to do everything they can to defeat the president. And this is about stepping up as a team.
Democrats have a turnout advantage in special elections, off-year elections.
That is a very big hat. You know what I have to say about this? I think it looks ridiculous when these people wear gigantic cowboy hats and don't wear Western detailing anywhere else. Why aren't you wearing a bolo tie? Why aren't you wearing a Western suit? Like, why? Like you literally just put the hat on. Like, if you want to do it, do it. Wear a Western suit. You're just jealous that he's hat mocking you? No, I'm not. I think it looks stupid to wear a regular ass business suit and then be like, well, I'm gonna plop a gigantic accessory on it that doesn't match what I'm wearing, you know? I think that looks silly. It is an absurdly large hat. I Googled Western suit model to try to find some examples. I can't find what I'm looking for, but I will delight all of you with this pretty lady in a Western shirt and trousers. No one, none of you people defend my sensibilities unless it's being worn by a pretty lady. And then you're all like, oh, I get it, a Western suit. That could look good. F you.
Elections, Democrats turn out for these things more than Republicans. Now, Republicans turned out well for the presidential. We did great in 2024, but we have seen instances over the last few years where Republicans just don't get up for these off-cycle elections. And so, it makes a difference. And so the political strategy here is absolutely correct. Elise will win easily. when she runs for re-election next year. She's terrific, by the way. And politics is a team sport, and she's a team player.
That's great. That's great. See what Stefanik said about Trump withdrawing her nomination. Are you going to say what she said?
Trump's the party boss. He made the right call. It's tough for her, and she earned this position. I hate it for her.
Let's be clear what happened here. They thought this race would be a cakewalk. That's why they pulled her into this nomination, right? They thought a 60-40 race would be easy to win. And Scott is absolutely right. Democrats have done better in turnout in off years, but not by 16 points from 2 days ago, not by 20 points in upstate, like in a place like upstate New York, which is a pretty conservative place. So I actually think the fact that I've been pretty negative.
This is big because they're seeing all of New York start to push to the left in retaliation against Trump. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Stefanik, House seat. Which district is she in? New York, 21st. NY21. NY21 district. Some multiple of 7. You've got it. There you go. It's literally the largest district in New York, presumably because no one lives there. We're talking like shithole New York. She won by what, like 20-something points before? How bad must their internal polling data be if they're pulling her back because they're worried that they're going to lose this seat? Like how? That's got to be some heinous internal data that they're looking at if they're worried that her replacement would lose. Look at how many districts are in New York City. That's insane. Yeah, because that's like the part that matters. Let's be fair. The rest of the state is just kind of an attachment. Cities produce culture. States, or I guess not urban, rural areas, they produce, I don't know, corn. Johnson has to reassure GOP lawmakers after the president said he's nervous about a Trump plus 20 district. I am like on my hands and knees begging, man. Can you imagine? They lose the Wisconsin state court special election. They lose at least one of the Florida seats. And then after pulling Elise Stefanik back so they don't face a special election in this district, they lose her too, which is unlikely, very unlikely. But can you imagine? I want it so bad. Stefanik was crushed and scrambled to reverse Trump's decision before he announced it on Truth Social, according to people familiar with the matter. But for Trump, the margins were too close for comfort. In a 20-plus district. They're also pissed that Governor Hochul is delaying the special election as long as possible. Hold on. Governor Hochul, NY21 special election. Yeah, that makes sense. Hochul is correct in this. So my guess, pronounced Hochul, by the way, I keep getting that wrong. I guess the implication then being is that by Hochul delaying it as long as possible, the likelihood of her losing the seat increases, you know? Now, because Stefanik isn't going to leave because she's being placed back in this seat, it's not going to be until the midterms that she's up for re-election. But man, I really want to see that internal data. I really want to see that polling data. Another problem was an ultra far-right guy was going to run and split the conservative vote. Because they do an open primary, right? Oh no, it would have been a third-party run. It wouldn't have been a Republican? Anthony Constantino Mole's third-party run for Stefanik's seat? Huh. Jeez. It's also to keep the House GOP margins tight as long as possible. Yeah, but they did not expect it to be a problem this quickly. It's only been 2 months. Republicans are afraid they'll lose the special election to replace her. Stefanik's congressional staff has mostly resigned. She surrendered her slot on the House Intel Committee and had 1 foot out of Washington. No! Her Instagram was a showcase of that extended goodbye. She'll have to slink back to the House and reintegrate herself into Johnson's leadership structure, even as Trump dangled the possibility of joining the administration down the line. That's so funny. Does this count as good news? I mean, it signals weakness. How many of these special elections will there be? Well, they pop up from time to time. People resign, people die. This is not going to be a special election. She's still a House member. That's the point. She was going to leave the House and they were going to run a special election in her seat to replace her, but they were worried about winning that election. And they're only running. What's the GOP lead right now in the House of Reps? Is it like what is it? It's like there's 4 vacancies and it's like 5 current, 3 seats. Well, there are recent vacancies. So right now, yeah, it's a 5 difference, 2018 to 2013. So if they lost Stefanik, that would be Stefanik's district. That'd be 2017 to 2014. And then you win in a couple other special elections. And yeah, you might actually have a deadlock. Unfortunately, a couple Dino Dems died. Yeah, but they'll be replaced with Dems. It's after they fix those, the expected margins will be 3 seat difference. So if they lost Stefanik, that would be a 1-seat difference. Yeesh. So is this good news? How many are you listening? It's good that Republicans are getting internal numbers that are so bad that they feel the need to yoink her back last second to hold her House seat. Like, that shows incredible weakness on their part. Especially for Trump to come out and say it openly. Like, they didn't even orchestrate this, like, behind the scenes, she pretends to have a last second change of heart or whatever. They openly yoinked her. Like, it's obvious that she's been wronged here. Not that I give a f, she's a bad person, but, like, you know, still. And that's a sign of weakness during a, like, big period for special elections. So hopefully it indicates something more substantial. It's important to look at Blake Gendabian and realize that is what they were afraid of. This is the Democratic candidate for the seat who was going to fight against Stefanik. What's your vibe, man?
An upstate New York dairy farmer is running to succeed Congresswoman Elise Stefanik in New York's 21st congressional district. Blake Gendabian says it's not about being a Republican or Democrat. It's about being a helpful member of the community. Gendabian joined us today here at News.
Once again, not running on being a Democrat. It's perfect, right? No one likes the Democrats, so don't run as a Democrat, right? Well, run as a Democrat, but don't make that a part of the message.
News Channel 13 to share why he should be the voters' choice as the Democratic candidate. Gendabian has an uphill battle in New York 21. Republicans have a big enrollment advantage, but he says he's not offering politics, he's offering solutions.
I have received letters from livestock feed companies saying, hey, you better expect your grain cost to go up because we receive grain from Canada and then it's resold to farmers locally. And when our costs go up at the grocery store for people at the dinner table. Affordability is a key message here, and as a dairy farmer, it's time we sent a farmer to Congress who actually understands how to drive food costs down.
The 21st
Smart line. Smart. It's a good message to run on in this area.
is New York's largest district geographically. It includes Saratoga, Fulton, Warren, Washington, and the counties stretching up to the Canadian.
Unironically, the worst kind of farmer, though. Listen, okay, I'm willing to incur every cost that it takes to pull the house back. I don't care what did it. Yeah, okay, we got it. We got the house back. We got 258. What did it cost you? Everything. I don't care. I'll be dark woke. I'll be darker woke. I'll be anti woke. Give me a mask. I'll put it on. Godspeed, Democratic dairy farmer. Tie this motherfucker to a missile and point him at Washington. Get on, boy. You've got work to do. Well, now he doesn't actually, because Stefanik's not leaving the seat. He doesn't have work to do. But that is the messaging they were afraid of. God, I hope this pans out. What happens if the House is tied up since Stefanik isn't leaving? The best Dems can do is tie up the House. Since Stefanik isn't leaving, I don't think Dems can even tie up the House. Well, wait, could they? No, I don't think so, right? The most they could get is 2 down? Wait, no. Yeah, you've got, okay, Florida's 1st and 6th, and then Arizona's 7th. But isn't there a pending election in Texas? Am I misremembering that? They just haven't called it yet. They haven't called the date. Arizona is the vacancy left by Raul, the old progressive man who died from being old. So that's going to go blue. Governor Abbott is refusing to move forward with Texas. Gotcha. Okay. So this special election has been declared. It would probably go blue, likely filled by a Democrat. Okay. So once Arizona and Texas eventually go through, that's 2 more safe blue seats, creating a 218 to 215, right? And then you have the two Floridian special elections on 1st and 6th. We're probably not going to get 1st, but 6 is, I don't think we're going to get either of them, okay? Maybe, I don't know. The 6 is Joshua Weil, I don't know. And the Democrat running in 1st is gay. So, uncritical support. Be hopeful we can win 6th. Maybe we win 6th. Maybe. But even if we win both of these, that gives us 1 seat down. 218 to 217. A red seat would need to be flipped. Is there any chance of big labor action before 2028? Nostradamus' stream is that way. Also, I wouldn't bet on it. You seen what our major unions are up to? UAW is like glory to Trump for protecting our... You see that? Yeah. Thank you, Trump, for tariffing foreign goods and engaging in protectionist practices so that we can keep our jobs, and then a bunch of union workers get laid off, and they're like, oh, we've been blindsided. Nobody could have guessed this. Who could have guessed that raising the cost of the materials that we use to produce these products would negatively affect the labor conditions in these industries?